Well, Bitcoin is crashing again. It was a rough weekend for Bitcoin, rolling into a rough start of the week. In today's video, I'm going to be breaking down some of the charts that we are keeping an eye on right now, as well as a very important event that is coming up this week, which is the CPI data for April. So that is, was inflation higher? Has inflation peaked? And what does this mean for the price of the cryptocurrency markets? All of that and more in today's video. My name's Lark. Every day I make videos talking about cryptocurrency investing. If you like that topic, you do like staying up to date with what is happening in this fast-moving cryptocurrency industry, a little tap on the thumbs up button would be much appreciated. By the way, every single week my team and I make Wealth Mastery. It's a cryptocurrency investor report twice weekly to your inbox. Tips, tricks, NFTs, reviews, airdrops, and much, much more. You can sign up for free using the link down below in the description. Now let's go ahead and dive into the charts to get started off with. Oh, it's a rough one. It's a rough one. Bitcoin is looking rough at the moment. I mean, that was quite the weekend right there. So right now, of course, we still have our death cross on the 3-day charts here for Bitcoin. That's going to be crossing here in the next few days, potentially by the end of this week or sometime early to mid next week. Unless something very dramatic happens and the price just blasts back higher, we're going to get that death cross being confirmed on the 3-day charts here for Bitcoin. Right now, the price of Bitcoin coming back down to potentially find a new low for the year. Now, our low of the year right now is at $32,850 approximately. Time recording the video, $33,492. So we're only about $700 away from that low of the year. If we blast through that, well, we could see 30 and then of course 28K coming very, very quickly. Everybody's been talking about 28K obviously as being the big zone, right? Where if we don't see that hold, well, things could get pretty rough. Peter Brandt, famous trader, he says, now that $28,000 is so widely accepted as the downside target, I'm forced to change my view. Either the price holds above $30,000 or it tanks straight through $28,000. Yikes. Yikes, man. We shall see, of course. Obviously, holding $30,000 would be a very nice sign for Bitcoin, finding some kind of relief, some kind of strength here in the market. But yeah, a lot of people depending on that $28,000 level to hold. Whales, of course, will let us know what's happening essentially. But it'd be interesting to see if we do put in a slightly lower price point here, maybe down to $31,000, for example, because that would really feel a lot like, well, this actually. If you look back to 2021, we had our initial big sell-off, but actually had a lower price point come in June, and actually a slightly lower price point come in July as well compared to the initial sell-off. All this stuff might seem pretty crazy to you if you're newer around here or just generally having a rough time with the markets. I get it. I know we've all been through this before if you've been in the crypto market for a few years. Right now, just for perspective, as I just like to point this out, last year we saw Bitcoin come down by 55% from peak to trough. Currently, Bitcoin is only down around 51% from peak to trough. Can, of course, continue to go down, obviously, but, it's just a bit of perspective there for you. I did want to take a quick moment here, too, to talk about the daily RSI here for Bitcoin. So are we in a zone of potential opportunity or about to enter a zone of potential opportunity for the price of Bitcoin here on the RSI? And I think, yes, that is very much what we are potentially looking at. So we are about to enter an oversold reading on the RSI. So this is the RSI right here, this little purple line. When it goes below this light shaded box, that means it is oversold, which is almost where it is, not quite yet, but almost where it is at the moment. Now, previous times when the price was oversold was a buying opportunity. We very rarely get oversold readings on Bitcoin. Early January of this year, we had the price basically what it is right now. Obviously, as we just discussed, that was an oversold signal. Had you bought there, of course, would have been a pretty few good months of potentially trading on that. Similar back in May 2020, oversold readings again here for Bitcoin. Going back to the COVID crash, oversold reading here for Bitcoin. So these opportunities are infrequent. They come, once, maybe twice a year in some years. And when they do happen, they're buying opportunities. Now, I haven't technically hit the oversold level yet, but man, we are damn close to seeing that happen. So I'm keeping a keen eye right now on this level right here, $32,850, because if we break through that, that does mean we are putting in a new low for the year. Then, of course, we have to start looking at these other key levels. $30,000, I think, is a big point, big round number, plus, of course, historical support, as we can see here. And I think the big line everyone's going to be watching, which is, of course, the lines of price support from last year's crypto crash, around $28,000. If we blast through that, well, you have to start going pretty far down to find lines of price support for Bitcoin. So let's keep an eye on that, see how the situation continues to develop. Now, one interesting thing I do want to point out, I feel like we could be in for some relief soon. Look, we can always just keep being bearish, obviously, but Bitcoin has just completed its 6th red weekly candle. Now, the last time we had this happen was all the way back in 2014. We've had 6 straight weeks of the market bleeding. You guys doing okay out there? Are you doing okay? Make sure to get out, get some exercise once in a while, go for a walk. The market can drive you a bit crazy, especially when you have this kind of price action, having near historic price action. It's the second time this has happened in Bitcoin's history. And if this week ends up being red as well, then that would be a new record of consecutive weeks of downward price action for Bitcoin. Likely, of course, that we will see some kind of green relief coming in the not so distant future here for Bitcoin. But man, it's been rough. It's been a rough weekend without a doubt. Fear, of course, through the freaking roof right now. The mood, of course, definitely one of pessimism, fear, negative sentiment. The kind of pessimism, fear, and negative sentiment that tends to mark buying opportunities in the market. Now, currently, so this, I took a few hours earlier. Currently, actually, we're all the way down to freaking 11 here. So that's some damn extreme fear. In fact, how extreme is that fear, Lark? Well, I'm glad you asked, Lark. The current reading of 11 is one of the lowest readings that we've had in the last year. Now, you can see, of course, we had the sell-off earlier this year. We did get down to 10. So this is the second lowest reading of 2022. If we go back to the depths of despair of the 2021 sell-off, we got down to 10 a few times during that sell-off. So the main point being here, fear readings around 9, 10, 11 are buying opportunities. When you see this much fear in the market, it is a buying opportunity. Now, it doesn't say rush out and throw all your money into your life savings into crypto right now. But man, I am buying here. I did buy some Bitcoin at $35,000. I've got more buy orders in at $31,000 because I feel like these are the market conditions where I can be adding to my positions. Now, I'm not going super heavy because there is a lot of risk, a lot of uncertainty still in the markets right now. And I do need to be keenly aware of that as an investor. I am keeping a strong defensive cash position while continuing to dollar cost average into my long-term Bitcoin stack right now. And the more we go down, the more I keep adding because I am a long-term investor in Bitcoin and dollar cost averaging. In such times of fear, feel right to me anyway. Now let's talk about the big story for today. The big thing that's happening on Wednesday, which is that we are going to get the consumer price index data for April coming out. Now, the big question that everyone's starting to ask, have we hit peak inflation in the USA? That is going to be the big determining factor here. So in March, we got up to 8.5% for the CPI, the Consumer Price Index. Now the forecast, this is interesting. The forecast, as we can see here, is that it's actually going to go back down to 8.0%. 8.1%. If that happens, that could mean we have hit peak inflation, which could actually be a pretty good thing for the markets. Of course, there's a lot of other stuff going on in the markets, as this article talks about. We have the international trade balance with China, inflation, of course, hitting countries all around the world. Somebody actually mentioned New Zealand in the news. New Zealand! Nice. Everything, I think, this week is going to hinge on inflation, as we have well documented on the channel over the last few months. Right now, Bitcoin, the entire cryptocurrency market, is trading lock in step with the equity markets. And whatever the inflation data happens to be is going to affect the equity markets, which is going to affect the cryptocurrency markets. It is what it is. I don't love this correlation, but the correlation is indeed there right now. So what does that put us for? Well, let's break this down. If we have it coming in that we do have a reduction from 8.5 down to 8.1% for inflation, I think that's bullish. It's interesting to see the market taking such a hit over the weekend. And yet this event coming up on Wednesday this week could actually be a bullish spark for the market, saying, hey, peak inflation could be in. We could be going down from here, which would be generally bullish for the market. It's not to say there's going to be an immediate, blast off event, but we could stop the bleeding and start to build ourselves back up a little bit. So if we do come in at 8.1%, meaning we're down 0.4% from previous month, I think that's a good thing. If we come down to like 8 or 7.9 or something like that, I think that's super bullish because it's even lower than expected. So either of these scenarios probably going to be pretty good for the markets if we have indeed hit peak inflation. Now, what if we come in actually at like 8.6, 8.7, 8.9, 9%? So basically, we didn't hit peak inflation. Inflation is continuing to rise. And of course, that being higher expected than the market was anticipating. That's bearish. I don't think there's anything positive about that. I think equity markets will get slammed again in that situation. We'll have another month of pain and suffering and bleeding for stocks, crypto, the whole lot. What if it's like double digits? Way worse than expected. It gets up to 10%, 11%, something just crazy broke and caught everybody, totally blindsided the entire market. Pray. That's what. Pray, guys. Probably not going to happen in such a way. Most likely, the majority of the market seems to be looking at we are going to have a slightly lower inflation rate this month. Fingers crossed. I think it'd be a good thing for the market if that is what happens. Final note for today's video, and then we're going to wrap this up. This is a weird time in the market, and if you're newer to the markets, you have to understand that these bearish periods are just as important and natural and normal and necessary as the bearish periods. The unfortunate part, I think, about the bear cycles is that people sell, people leave, people get bored, people get angry. Oh, the comment section, holy cow. Anyway, people stop paying attention. People leave. They throw the opportunity away. You can't deal with the continuous punches in the face that the market is giving you. And I get it. I do. I understand. It's tough. It's tough to look up and see your portfolios down by thousands of dollars once again. It's tough. It sucks. But guess what? If anybody's been in the market for a few years, we've all been here before. We've been through rough market conditions. 2021 had rough market conditions. 2020 had rough market conditions. 2019 had rough market conditions. 2018 had rough market conditions. 2017, the bull run of, historical record, had crazy corrections, man. This stuff happens in markets. And if you make it through it, you survive, you will thrive. Just my 2 Satoshis, of course. You guys let me know your thoughts on any of this stuff down below in the comment section. Let me know, are you buying anything right now? Are you like, I'm out of money, Lark, buying stuff, you crazy man? Or are you just waiting like, hey, I'm not buying right now, because the prices are going lower? Or are you just stacking sats and chilling? Let me know down below in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and peace out till next time.